An injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
I represent people who are looking for an answer to the trauma, a stop to the trauma, that they can step outside and experience life, that they can jog down the street, they can go to the market, they can walk in the park without experiencing trauma. The trauma is racism. And we're here to declare that racism is a public health crisis.
I am a pastor, and I've been a pastor for 25 years. And if I hear someone say, I need to just pray one more time, I am going to scream. Racism is a public health crisis. You know already the insidiousness and the trauma and the pain and the issues that surround racism. So today isn't about telling you to make it just simply a health crisis. Today is to tell you, Board, that because trillions of prayers have already gone up, that my ancestors have been on bloodied knees praying for decades and decades. Today, Board, your response is to be the answer to those prayers. It's not to tell the people to keep praying. It's for you to decide that today you are going to be the answer to their prayers.
It's time for change, and we are sick and tired of being sick and tired. We can no longer allow public servants to ignore, sit, and watch while our people are being killed in cold blood. I am here to demand that this board declare racism a public health crisis. Change the system. Take action now. None of us are free until we are all free.
We are gathered here today to not only stand in solidarity and honor all the Black Americans who have lost their lives to racial violence as well as systematic oppression, but we are also here to declare racism a public health concern. This is what happens when there's a lack of consideration and a lack of priority when it comes to protecting Black lives. So no, this is not a spur-of-the-moment occurrence. This is 400 years of pent-up frustration. This is 11 I Can't Breathe. This is Breonna Taylor. This is Ahmaud Arbery. This is George Floyd. We are in a state of emergency. Black people dying is a state of emergency. San Bernardino County, Board of Supervisors, today we call on you to lead and declare racism a public health emergency. Thank you for your time.
So today, we don't ask, we're not smoozing, we're not partnering up, we're not playing poker at the table. We're demanding, and I use that word again, demanding that San Bernardino declares racism as a public health crisis.
Listen. We have declared COVID-19 as a public health crisis because it has infected 1.8 million people out of 328 million. Today, it has killed over 107,000 people, which is 0.03% of the total population of America. Statistics tell us that the Black people make up 14% of the U.S. population, which is 42 million people. It also tells us that 1 in 1,000 Black males will be killed by law enforcement officer in his lifetime, which is 42,000 males, which represents 1% of the overall Black community. If we can declare COVID as a public crisis with a 0.3% fatality rate over the U.S. population, and why would we not declare racism a public health crisis with a 1% fatality rate over the overall Black community? Black males are being killed at a higher percentage rate by the police than by COVID-19. I stand in agreement with the demand that we declare racism as a public health crisis.
I am here today to urge you to vote in favor of this very important resolution that they are bringing forward today. to declare racism a public health crisis in San Bernardino County. It is long overdue and it is necessary. Passing this resolution would send a very strong message that our county leaders believe that everybody is going to be judged on their own merit and their own merit alone. It also recognizes a very important thing publicly, historically, that racism exists and it is real and it is here today. And that it is a threat to people's lives, and also that it represents a very significant barrier to people in our cities and counties and communities when they are trying with their families to achieve prosperity and self-sufficiency. Racism is a very significant barrier to many people while they're trying to do that.
Good morning, Board. It's good to be here. I appreciate it. I want to indicate that I'm here on behalf of the District Attorney's Office, and I want to indicate that I am personally and professionally in support of Pastor Sam Casey and everyone else that has spoken here today. There's one thing I want to read, and then I'll explain it in context when I'm done. The Black Law Students Association stands with the families of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Tony McDade, and Aubrey Arbery. We give honor to their memories and to the memories of countless others who have been unjustly taken from this world, whether we knew their names or not. Black people are in a unique position today, facing both the brunt of the COVID-19 pandemic and the unrelenting violence against our brothers and sisters all across the country. More often than not, senseless killings by police result only in superficial reprimand that falls short of addressing the underlying problems that support a racist system. To be sure, true justice does not stop at an arrest. True justice requires that we re-examine the structural inequities that continuously exclude and actively oppress Black and brown people. We bear the burden of constantly burying our brothers and sisters and ask that you stand next to us as we endeavor to dismantle the system of oppression. Do not be complicit in the deaths of Black people. Have those tough conversations with your family, friends, co-workers, and fellow students. Do not shy away from the fact that both police, officers, and civilians are continuously allowed to use lethal force and violence against Black people. To remain silent, to remain neutral, is to side with the oppressors. Your silence is violence. Publicly demand equality, justice, and safety for us. Now, the reason I have that is that was written by the daughter of one of the finest prosecutors that exists in our office. She's been there 30 years. She's an African-American lady who was born and raised in North Carolina, and her daughter's in law school at Cornell in New York, and primarily responsible for writing that article. I'm here to commit to the county and to the community that the spirit that's embodied in that article, written by somebody I know, and am fortunate enough to work with her mother, will be the spirit that's embodied in my office as long as I'm fortunate enough to serve as your district attorney in this county. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to all the speakers today. It was difficult to listen to the comments shared, as it should be. We're at a difficult point, and I hope very much for the future of our nation that we are at a turning point. The desire to change, I believe, is now at a critical point, and I hope we don't miss this moment in time to make some change. How do we deal with the impacts, the effects, and the prevention of racism? And I hope that San Bernardino County will step forward and be at the forefront of that. And I look forward, Mr. Chair, to an opportunity to vote on a resolution declaring racism a public health crisis, and ask my colleagues to join me in taking action to create an element group around racism where we can have these conversations.
Thank you, Supervisor Rutherford. I echo your sentiments and I appreciate your comments. We received an additional written comment from Paula Durant out of the Yucca Valley area, and she had a suggestion, and that was a curriculum out of the Southern Poverty Law Center that is teaching tolerance. And I love the idea of incorporating it into our vision, and I think that that is something that we can all learn and take back to our citizens and have a better, stronger county. So thank you for that, and thank you to all the speakers who came today.
What would it involve for us to declare racism a public health crisis in San Bernardino County? The system within law enforcement needs to continue to be reconstructed. We are, ladies and gentlemen, in a critical point in history of this great nation, let alone this county. We must take advantage of what has taken place, and we must not lose focus through all of this, that law enforcement is key to the safety of this nation, to everyone's safety, and that unless we uphold together law enforcement and the good that it stands for, that we will end up hurting ourselves. And I think we need to give law enforcement the opportunity to, within itself, become part of the systemic change that is being asked for. I invite us to continue to speak and continue to explore the opportunities that this horrible, not only nationwide but worldwide unrest as a result of many years of feeling left out and omitted and still unheard have brought about, and turn it into an opportunity that we can embrace and be the leaders that the people of this great county and this great nation need. Thank you so very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, all my board members, for those comments and support. I do think we're at a crossroads in history on many different parts. I mean, obviously, COVID is going to change things, the way we do things going forward, some for the good, some for the bad. The unrest that we've seen this last week provides another opportunity for us to come out with some good barriers for this, improvements for the future, foundations that we can build upon, and that will start with talks. We will definitely want to have something agendized next week, but I do want to reach out and say we have the best people in any county, I believe, to make this happen right now. Our whole entire team here wants to better this county, and is there work to be done? Absolutely. But we have a great foundation and great members of our directors of every level that I know that have the right heart and mentality to really come out with some good things from this unique opportunity and time to move forward. So I look forward to further discussions on this. We will promise those discussions will be continuing very shortly.